And there you have a glowy but stable summer glam.
Hey, I'm maybe Burke, and you're watching Makeup for Lost Time. This is my series for trans women and other people who feel like they missed a few classes when it came to learning about makeup.
We're going to start with a very hydrated base. This is my MAC lip conditioner, and I've done most of my skin prep, so just using my Kate Somerville sunscreen. That tends to add a glowy base. Gonna clip my bangs back because I don't know what my hair is doing these days. But glow is the name of the game in the summer. I used to not be a fan of glowy, shiny things, but I've learned I wasn't really looking for shimmer and glitter. There's a difference between glow and shine, and I haven't spent much time with it, but since L'Oreal sent me their Lumi Glotion, I've been obsessed. So just taking some of that on my fingers, I've been using it for an all-over glow. You can use something like this more targeted in different areas you want to highlight specifically, but I don't know, I just love the way that this lays down and the way it mimics a natural glow. I never did the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Foundation. I never was an e.l.f. Halo Glow girl, so maybe I'm just late to the party. But I also used to be a matte only girl. But in the summer you're gonna get sweaty anyway, so you might as well start with the glow. Now if you're following closely, you've probably seen this trick before. I've been mixing my concealer in with 2 different color correctors. The trick, especially in summer, is to work in light layers. And when you're neutralizing things like bags under your eyes, you definitely don't want to be gobbing color corrector on where you can see it once it's applied. So instead I'll mix these together on the back of my hand or on a palette. My palette's just dirty because I haven't cleaned my brushes, which I do not recommend doing. But then we have just enough to work with that's going to get you the neutralizing agents that you want, while also not veering too far from your actual skin tone. And you'll notice I'm only laying this down exactly where that darkness is that I want to neutralize. This is not a mandatory step. Most people don't have the darkness all the way under their eyes like I do, but then I'll go ahead and also sweep this right across the eyelid. It's rare for me to do a look without eyeshadow, but especially in the summer, it's hard to get eyeshadows to last even with all the best primer and everything. And I feel like a good summer look actually doesn't call for much eyeshadow, but we will do a little bit. Then I'm just gonna take the rest of this concealer down the center of the face. We're not doing too heavy complexion here, but just for a little bit of cohesive coverage. We're not necessarily going for a full glam moment, but if we only have concealer under our eyes, it's gonna start to look weird. So then I'm gonna take my summer blush, which is actually just mixing a Rare Beauty blush with a liquid luminizer, and this I'm gonna dot on the inside of my lower thumb, both of them together, and place this near it. I'm not going directly on it so they don't mix on the applicators, but I'm just going to kind of press my palms together and blend and mix them together right in there so that the blush that we have just comes with a little glow now. I'm gonna press this onto my cheeks, on the tip of my nose, and up on my forehead, and tap around that. You'll notice a lot of this application is just coming in with my hands. I'm also gonna take some of that down the sides of my chin, just so everything gets a little cohesive. Now, if you've been around before, you know I'm not really a bronzer girl, but I've kind of been liking it. I guess it is a summer thing to have the bronze. So I'm just taking what's left of my Fenty bronzer and popping that right on the perimeter, all over, and down the nose. At this point, I'm gonna take my MAC Fix Plus, give us a nice coat, so then we can come in with some powders. Taking this NARS blush right over where we put this other blush. This is a much lighter color, just to help us lock it in. And I'm actually gonna take that under the eyes as well. We don't necessarily need to use a setting powder. I don't know, to me, summer glam is lazy girl glam. So I'm gonna come back in with my concealer. This is the Dior Backstage. I'm taking that alone, not with the color corrector on it. And I'm just gonna use that to brighten up under where that blush sits so we can really get the difference. Down the center of the nose and up to the forehead. Really just highlighting the center of our face like we typically do with concealer. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but for me that makes a huge difference. And now I said we're gonna do a little eyeshadow. I usually start with eyes, but with this vibe we're definitely playing it different. I'm gonna come in with a pretty light shade, just blended right into the crease there. So we have a little bit of dimension. You can also do this with a powder bronzer if you're powdering your bronzer. I'm leaving my bronzer unpowdered so that we don't really mattify the perimeter of the face as much. And then not technically an eyeshadow, but I love to come in with the powder highlighter from Rare Beauty right on the inner third or inner half of the eyelid and get that inner corner. Again, I'm not a big shimmer person, but something about a glowy base and a shimmer eyeshadow screams summer for me and just helps me feel more awake and alive. I'm gonna come back in with the brush I used the eyeshadow on just to blend those together a little bit more seamlessly. And then if I feel like I'm missing a little glow on my cheeks, which I'm not right now, but I would go in with my powder blush brush, tap off the excess, and just lightly sweep on some of that highlighter on top. From there, I'm just gonna curl my lashes. Coming in with my favorite tubing mascara from Cali Ray, because especially in the summer, I don't want any chance of this smearing or running. And finish this off with a nice hydrating lip oil or a lip gloss. This is the one from e.l.f. that kind of feels like both. We're gonna lock our brows in place. This is the Got To Be brow gel. One more round of Max Fix Plus. Let that dry down. And there you have a glowy but stable summer glam. The products I use aren't the only products to use. I just get questions sometimes about what I'm using, so I tell you what I'm using along the way. Let me know if this was helpful or if you do anything differently, and subscribe to this channel as we make up for lost time.